Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I had a small hiatus from videos. I was on vacation, work, family in town, just a lot of stuff. So now getting back into the videos because I keep buying knives, so might as well do videos on them. The first one we're going to look at is the Cheburkov Russkiy, I think is how it's pronounced. Russkiy, I think it's Russkiy. I think I've heard that term used before. Probably means Russian or something. Regardless of which, we're going to look at the knife and not worry about what the name is. Now, this one did come from Lamnia all the way over in Finland. They are Europe's largest knife retailer, as far as I'm aware. And they ship knives over here in like 3 business days, so they do a pretty good job of getting stuff over quick. I've ordered from them going all the way back to like 2014. Point is, they issued a discount code which is Bunny, and it gets 10% off your order for the next 5 days only. I don't get any kickbacks from this, so if you guys use the code and save 10%, maybe something you're already looking at, cool. If you don't use it, I don't care. Nothing's coming my way, which is the way that I prefer it. So anyways, FYI, they stock a lot of like European and Russian makers and knives that perhaps you don't see as often over here in the States. So I will leave a description or a link in the description box below, and also the discount code, which is again Bunny, only good for 5 days. All right, let's look at the knife because that's what you're here for. This Cheburkov Russkiy does ship with a laminated certificate of authenticity, which is cool, I guess. The box, here's the info, serial number, model number, what have you. Really nothing glamorous here. It's just a foam insert and you got the card. So let's take a look at this one. It is a frame lock flipper. It does run on bearings, so you know, a lot of things we've seen before. It's a very clean design. It's very simple. This is very well made, and it has a really cool, like, minimal flipper tab here that works pretty well. So yeah, I had a Cheburkov about 3 years ago. I think the model was the Pike, something like that. I bought it off a guy on Blade Forums who was like some distributor out of Chicago. I don't know. You can go to an authorized dealer for these now, so that's always good. But that knife was it was odd because the lock side was kind of plain Jane like this, but then the show side had Damascus, carbon fiber, and Damascus like bolted on, giving it an asymmetric design. It was weird. It was cool, but it was kind of weird. So this one's obviously like, you know, a lot more simple, a lot more safe, a little more timeless as well. It's a good design. So let's look at the specs real quick. We've got the Para 2, as always, and then we've got the Kershaw Dividend. So blade length on this thing is about 3.75, handle length about 4.8. Overall, it's a pretty big knife here, coming in at like 8.6, give or take. Does weigh in about 4.8 ounces, so not the lightest, not the heaviest. It is a flat grind. It is M390, the blade steel, and the blade stock is coming in at 150 thousandths thick, so a little bit thicker than the Para 2. Actually, I don't remember right now what the Para 2 is. It's been a while since I've done a video. Regardless of which, it is a full flat grind, and it cuts very, very well. I'm going to show you guys here the secondary bevel. Super clean, super sharp. It's got a nice media blast or bead blast type finish on here. Got a really silky feel to it. Little swedge. A lot of belly on this thing with that nice kind of up sweep, and that lends itself well to, you know, actually using the spine of the blade for your thumb, and that jimping is beautifully executed. Let's see if we can get it to focus. Really, really nice. Grippy, not sharp, perfect execution of jimping. So there's the heel of the blade. Let me see if we can get a look here. The plunge lines are really well done. I like the angled plunge lines here. And you guys can see the heel is pretty symmetric there. It looks very nice. They did a good job on the blade. There's no complaints there. So, can't remember what the text is. The year that this one was manufactured is 2019. I I don't know what the other little thing behind the 9 is. It probably means something. I wouldn't know. Got the Cheburkov logo and the blade steel. So again, minimalist, clean, super nice. Another interesting thing on this knife is the flipper tab, which is very small, and it's concaved. You guys can see, hopefully, with jimping on it. So it works pretty well, actually. As long as you are actually getting right here on top, you're not going to slip on it. The only times that I have slipped is when I'm, trying to use the very top point here, and that's not going to work. But once you're here, no problem whatsoever. So a very small, very, almost disappears minimal flipper tab that works well as long as you're getting the right spot here, and then again in the open position it disappears into the design. So works. It's nice. Who does this well? Oh my gosh, the designer from Belarus, whose name is escaping me. You guys know who I'm talking about. I can't think right now. Alright, do some macros here. This one is the purple pivot collar version. And then the pocket clip is a little more blue than purple, but it is hidden hardware. It is 3D milled, and surprisingly enough, there is enough room in here for jeans. I got this out of the box and I looked at it, I'm like, ugh, I don't think that's going to work, but it does. So that makes me quite happy. Back spacer, again, same color. Does have a lanyard post at the back. Again, very nice. And you guys can see the chamfers here on the inside of the flipper track. If you shove your hand in here sideways, you're going to find the heel of that blade. I've never had a problem. If I'm flat though across the top, I can't find it. You have to be looking to get in there to get it, but just an FYI, I've never had a problem with this one. Centering is spot on, and the entire knife is nicely chamfered, no hot spots whatsoever. Action is pretty good. I think there's more to give. One thing that, if you guys have had a lot of knives over the years, this is a ceramic detent ball, and ceramic detent balls do need oil on them, otherwise they can start to grind and drag. So I ran this thing just, unlubed, or I didn't add anything to it for the first week, and then I felt the detent ball starting to drag on the blade, and so at that point I dropped a little bit of lubricant on the detent ball, and it was perfect. So I would like to take this apart at some point, clean out whatever factory lubricant is in it, and try my own nano oil or knife pivot lube or any of those, just to see. I think it'll smooth out even a little bit more, but it is red Loctited, and so I am going to have to take a blow dryer or soldering iron to it to break free from the Loctite. The suckers clamp down pretty hard, so FYI, they do use red Loctite. You can get around it, you just have to know what you're doing, and you have to be careful so you don't actually strip the screws or whatnot. On that note, the pivot screw, and this is a captured pivot, this side wasn't moving when I tried to disassemble, but the threading on the pivot is nice and deep and has some really good teeth, so that's always nice. Really shallow pivots, those ones are typically the first to strip. So yeah, alright, let's take a look at the action. Really nice. Great action. Ergonomics, yeah, no hot spots. Fits very comfortably in the hand. I think it's kind of a straight design overall, but I think it would work with just about any hand or any hand size. This seems to do quite well. So the pocket clip, there's no hot spots there. From time to time, I do have to grab this a little bit to help it get over some of my pockets. Totally doable. It's not a pain at all. And let's look at the lock up here. They use the other company that does this is man, I am just not functioning today, guys. The other Russian company, Cheburkov, they have that kind of over travel stop on the stainless steel lock insert. That way you can't push it too far over. So that, you know, that's cool. I don't know. It's fine. And they chamfered all the edges here, so there's nothing sharp anywhere in the lock area. Again, really happy about that. So, disengagement, really easy. They didn't actually chamfer. They didn't do any additional chamfering in here to disengage, but it doesn't have like a really strong lock bar, so it's really easy to disengage. And it is very solid, no play whatsoever. So, trying to think if there's anything else super important. I think that's pretty much it. This company, Cheburkov Knives, was at Blade Show 2019. They'll probably be at 2020. I think they're at the Paris show, which is happening nowish. So they go to the shows. So you can handle these if you're at the shows. If you can't, then you may just have to buy one and try for yourself. I like this model. I liked it better than that Pike or whatever I had before. I think it's just kind of a timeless design. It works really well in the hand, and this is a very well made knife. No complaints, no issues at all with it. So yeah, if you're interested in this one, you know, at $450-ish in terms of price, I think there's a lot to like here. Are there less expensive options that might make you just as happy? Sure, there always will be, but this one is pretty good. So anyways, this is the Cheburkov Russkiy, and thanks so much for watching. Links in the description box below, comments or questions. If you've had this one, share what your thoughts are so that people can hear thoughts other than mine in the comment section. Thanks for watching, guys. More videos to come.